Right, for the first time in 2025, it's the first week leading up to the first test between the All Blacks and France. So yeah, lots to talk about. We'll talk about some news involving the All Blacks, the French, as we all who have already arrived in New Zealand. As we know, the French are missing quite a number of their top players. More on that. But yeah, and also, but we'll try and name a team. Oh, I will name a team that I think will feature in for the series opener in Dunedin this Saturday. And yeah, but also that we'll might talk a bit about the Lions as well. So for the All Blacks, yes. So as a couple of unfortunate pieces of news in the last over the weekend, we've lost Wallace Titi for this series against France due to an ankle injury. Which was sustained in the Super Rugby final. He played for the Chiefs against the Crusaders. He's now so Satiti's out of this July series. And also, we've also had the news just on Monday that Tamaiti Williams has now been ruled out of the three tests against France. He's had a torn meniscus also sustained in that Super Rugby final. So he's going to be missing the three tests. So in place of Wallace Atiti, we've had Christian Leo Willie brought into the side. While as for Williams, his Crusaders teammate George Bower has come in. So yeah, I mean the way it's sort of a net gain for if you're a Crusaders fan. So yeah, so look, I guess for me, so those are two pretty big injuries in my opinion because I think they would have started 40. You know, they would have been named in the starting 15 to take on France and Dunedin. But yeah, so we're gonna see a couple of things here. So as look, I'll run. The best way is probably to name my predicted 23 to take on France in Dunedin. This is of course hopefully. Fingers crossed we won't get any more further injuries this week. I believe the test start is due to be named on Thursday. I'll have to check that again. Traditionally, it's always been named on the Thursday in the morning. So in a press so that the media can it's sort of named in a press release for the media. But in any case, look. So we'll start front row. Look, so Williams would have been. I guess he would have been loose head. So naturally, Ethan de Groot comes in. Look, I think de Groot. I did say in an earlier video that. Earlier in the year that de Groot's form hadn't been that great, but he certainly picked it up for the Highlanders later on, I think. And yes, he's had a bit of he's a player that's well known to the All Blacks. He's certainly well known by Jason Ryan, so I think he will take Williams' spot. And this is a real chance to show that this is a real opportunity to show that he is deserving of a starting position. There's obviously the likes of George Bower, Ollie Norris, they're pushing for props. So I think and for that record, I'll just say Bower and Norris are going to be on the bench with Takiaho as the backup hooker to Cody Taylor. So look, that is going to be, I think in a way, this is a chance for a lot of these players to kind of, who sort of missed out or perhaps aren't considered the first choice. So it's a real opportunity here. And I think the circumstances are right, which I'll talk a bit more about the French. So look, I'm going to name Cody Taylor because it is pretty much going to be a surprise if he wasn't named unless there was an injury, with Tyrell Lomax on the other side of the front row. So as I said, Sami Soni Takiaho will be back in on the bench. He's with Asafo Mua out with injury, so I anticipate. Yeah, it'll be Taki. I anticipate Takiaho playing his first All Blacks test in just over a year. In the locks, Scott Barrett, Tupou Vaa'i. Of course, Barrett's the captain, and Tupou Vaa'i is probably easily the best lock. That's not Scott Barrett. And yeah, so that for me it will remain the locking partnership to start the tests. Look, I'll talk about the bench anyway because I guess we're talking position. Um, and I should mention I've named I've named six forwards and two backs. You'll see why in lineup. Look, so ready to name Takiaho, Bauer, and Norris as my front row subs. And for my locks, I've named two. I've named Fabian Holland and Patrick Tuipulotu. I think locks is going to be a key area. There's also some scope, like one of like Barrett could possibly move to blind side. I mean, Fabian Holland, yeah. Look, who's this? And I mean, there is mention of Tupou Vaa'i being able to play as a blind side if need be. So yeah, that's had. Look, Holland. I guess I think to make his test debut in Dunedin would be absolutely brilliant. And Tuipulotu is there for experience, so hence why I've named both. We'll talk about the back row. So look, obviously, Wallace Atiti, he would have started at 8. I guess, look, Jason Ryan seems really keen on Ardie Savia to take over the 7 jersey, which of course now has been vacated by Sam Cane. So I anticipate that's going to remain the case. So I think it will be interesting to see who starts in number 8. I'm gonna go with a hunch and go with Christian Lewilli, who, by the way, is an Otago player, and even though he's been playing for the Crusaders, I'm gonna take him to start at number 8, with Sami Penny-Finau at 6. Look, I know Finau has had his issues with discipline, but his ball carrying abilities are, still second to none, almost a bit like Jerome Kaino. So I'm gonna name Sami Penny-Finau at 6, and so he'll be Finau. It'll be the back row of Finau, Savia, and Lewilli, with Luke Jacobson to come off the bench. Yeah, just obviously needing that petrol. And then I guess they could always shift Savia to 8, and maybe take Lewilli or Finau off. So those are my forwards and backs. Look, Cam Roygaard's going to be the halfback. I'm going to go with a double pivot here. I'm going to go with Beauden Barrett at 10 because I think he's at All Blacks level. I think he's still the preferred choice. I can see Damien McKenzie playing at fullback, so that means Will Jones on 14. Sevu Reece is going to be the other wing, I think, and Jordie Barrett's going to slot in. I think it's quite clear that I know Jordie Barrett's obviously been playing in Leinster, but he's as match ready as you can be. Contrary to what Stephen Donald might think about Northern Hemisphere rugby, I think Jordie Barrett's been playing absolute top class rugby, and if you've certainly seen that try he scored in the ERC final, he's pretty much, he will not be rusty. So, and look, I think Rieko Ioane will still play at centre. I know there's been a couple of images of him donning the 11 jersey, but maybe that's for a bit late. I can't imagine they're going to go away from Barrett and Ioane simply because that's the established partnership. And for the backs, as I said, 2 backs. Cortez Ratimer will be the understudy halfback, and I'm gonna name Ruben Love at I guess the fact he's able to play first 5, second, and fullback, and it'll be it'll be interesting. I hope. Look, I know there's not another specialist center there, but I think you might. Yes. You might be. I think they could possibly have someone of the wingers being able to play as a makeshift center. So we shall see what happens there. It'll be interesting what happens on Thursday. I guess I should say the other reasons I'm not in terms of this. In terms of who could play which specialist midfielder will be on the bench, it's a bit tricky to say. I don't think it'll be Timothy Tavatanau, much as that'd be nice to get him have his debut against at home again where he plays for the Highlanders, but I don't think that will be the case. But we shall see. And I guess that's the thing. You wonder why Havili wasn't picked, but oh well, that we shall see what happens when the side is named. Gonna briefly touch on the French, the tourists. As I said, yeah, this is the site has been named. I anticipate they're here they're probably trained somewhere in Auckland by now. It is a site that is not gonna feature any of the Toulouse or Bordeaux players who played in the final. By the way, that was quite a cracking game of rugby. It went to extra time, prolongation as they call it in French. 39-33 went to Toulouse over Bordeaux. Featuring a lot of arguably France's top frontline players. It should be said though, I guess this is the second year in a row that France is going to send a tour side. Of course, they toured Argentina and Uruguay and sent a weekend team there, so they're pretty. Yes, it's a weekend side, but I wouldn't necessarily say that these guys don't know what they're up against, because I think they certainly had that experience against Argentina and Uruguay. Yes, it would have been nice to play like your Ramoses, your Antoine Dupont, etc. But yeah, look, it's the French. We just, I mean, this video is not talking about what World Rugby should be doing. A couple of good names there, I guess. Fickou stands out. He's been around for a bit. Romain Taofifenua, excuse the pronunciation. The lock plays for Lyon. Couple of La Rochelle players. Of course, La Rochelle were the team that missed out on the final. Rabah Soumani at Leinster. So it will still be a pretty good team. But yeah, I don't think the All Blacks are going to put 60 points past this lot. I think it'll be close. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame we won't be able to play the frontline team. The other name worth mentioning, he didn't play for, he plays for La Rochelle. Aldred, he's been rested. So yeah, look, that's the French there. But I think we're not gonna. I remember, of course, the French sending a C team to New Zealand prior to the 2007 Rugby World Cup, and we absolutely hammered that side. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but I do think, yeah, we should have a fairly rusty but comfortable win in Dunedin, and yeah, All Blacks should win pretty much all those games. Speaking of rusty, of course, the Lions are touring Australia. They played their first game on tour, officially, not counting the Argentina game. They played against the Western Force, which first half was very, very scrappy, and you got to give credit to the Force for making it a contest. Ultimately, the depth and the talent the Lions have came through, and they won pretty comfortably, although not the largest margin they've ever had against Western Australia / the Force. But yeah, I guess the performance, Henry Pollock, the English flanker, I guess, look, a lot of people are saying he's a bit young to be named the starting side, but I think if he's good enough, you should name him there. Certainly, him and Josh van der Flier could cause a lot of problems for Australia. So, look, I will try and name a team once I've seen a team to take on the Wallabies in the test. Once I've seen a bit more, just thinking it's still a bit early for that. But watch this space. So, look, what are your thoughts on the All Blacks, the French, the Lions, the Wallabies, anything really? Yeah, well, let me know your thoughts, and of course, if you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe.
That's a good line from Van der Flier. Pollock's gone with him. He set him up, and now we might see that pace. Pollock, he's looking all around for support. Oh, Russell was there, so too Williams.